So welcome to Basin-Wide Foundation's virtual luncheon. I hope you have something to eat so you're not cranky, because I don't and I am. So I just want to welcome you. I'm actually the treasurer of the board of Basin-Wide Foundation. And I'm proud to be here with our superintendent of the Copper Mountain College District, with our assistant superintendent of Morongo Unified School District, so Dr. Daren Otten, Ms. Amy Woods. I am going to turn it over to them. Traditionally, what we do is let our speakers go. We'll do some question and answers, and at the end, we'll do nonprofit announcements. So Daren and Amy, it's all your show.
Fabulous. Where is Daren?
I'm right here, yes.
Okay.
Hey, sweetie.
There he is. All right.
This was awesome.
We're ready. We're ready.
Yeah, help yourself. Be generous.
Everyone, I would say good morning. Oh, no, just now. Good afternoon to everyone. And Dr. Otten and I are very, very, very excited to be able to present the partnership of education in this community between Morongo Unified and Copper Mountain College. I would probably say the best course of action for everyone right now is to mute themselves, to mute your microphone. That way you can't hear anything that's happening on in the background in your house or wherever you are. And I think Sandy will give time for question and answers later on if you wanted to unmute your microphone. So with that, Dr. Otten.
Yeah, I'm Daren Otten. I'm the superintendent president here at Copper Mountain College, and excited to join everyone today and share a little bit about what's going on locally and a little bit of the opportunities of the future of education that hopefully, if the technology today was any indicator, is not the future of education in the basin. So with that, we'll get ourselves started here.
All right, so Daren, I'll go first then, yeah?
Yeah, I think
okay. So we've done some slides for you today with the theme of the future of education in the Morongo Basin. And as Morongo Unified School District and Copper Mountain College are two of the largest educational organizations and agencies inside the basin, we again are really happy to partner and to let you know a couple things. And again, thematically for the slides, we just did some bullet points, and then we'll talk about the bullet points. So we're basically going from where we're at today and the challenges and successes that we've had during the pandemic, and then the programs whereby we partner, and then, kind of moving into what does the future hold for us. So just so you know that that's where we're going. So where we are at today, we are at the 1-year mark of the beginning of the pandemic, which did not close schools. It closed in-person instruction. And they are two very different things. School at both CMC and MUSD never ended. It never stopped, and the teachers have worked tirelessly at both agencies to commit to providing the best possible and the most rigorous education that we could, pivoting on a dime without knowing a lot about the technology at the time, although we do now. And so this is where we are at today. So I'll go over MUSD's side of the house. We run two programs. We run a distance learning program, which is a remote program, and we run an independent study program, which is a weekly or every other week, 1 hour a week in-person instruction for our independent study learners. Currently, we have 5,000 students in distance learning, and we have 2,000 students in independent study. So it has been quite a challenge. I will talk much more about distance learning and what we've done with distance learning in future slides. And there's not too much more to talk about with independent study, but I do have some more to tell you in different slides about distance learning. But this slide is about where we're at today. Where we're at today with athletics, because it's been, a big deal on a lot of people's minds and I'm sure with the college as well. Our Board of Education did recently vote to reopen outdoor athletics for phase 1 through 3, and that meant conditioning, and then it meant practicing, and now we're into the realm of contact competition. So that's where we're at with athletics, and barring any spreader event or any failure to follow the COVID protocols, which we do not anticipate. Hopefully, again, our students will be running our fall sports schedule along with our winter and spring pretty much all at the same time. Within special education, we had opened up prior to the holidays when the numbers around here got pretty bad. We had just begun to open our special education small group cohorts. A small group cohort is no more than 16 bodies in a room, and that includes the adults. So we would normally have a teacher, an aide, and 14 students. We had started those cohorts at about 6 schools, and we were able to run them for 2 to 3 weeks before the numbers got really bad around the holidays, and we had no choice but to close them down. We have, however, reopened them, and they will be coming in person Monday, March 22nd, and we have 12 small group cohorts that will be operational on Monday, and that includes 7 school sites and 115 students. So that is how we're starting to bring students back in person. Our special needs students struggle the most with screen time and with needing the hand-over-hand or the one-on-one, and so that's where we are starting. Also, just to let you know where we're at today, Instructional Services started a focus skills project. We have 95 teachers that are involved in this project. It's been about 10 hours a piece worth of work, and what we've done is we've taken the Common Core content standards at every grade level, TK through 12, in ELA, English Language Arts Literacy, and Mathematics. And we've culled those standards down into a focus standard or power standard or essential standard list for the purpose of creating one vertically articulated document or book that we can give to teachers for 4th quarter to assist in focusing on learning loss and focusing on the essential standards to be successful in the grade above you. We will give it to parents over the summer so they can work with their children what you need to grow into the 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. We can give this document to struggling teachers or brand new teachers or teachers who are changing grade level. We can use it for our 4th quarter instruction for preparation. We can use it for our super summer school, which I'm going to talk about later. And we can use it for with our assessment program for guiding instruction as we move into next year. So that's where we're at today with MUSD. So Daren.
And I do appreciate just to kind of give a little bit of foundational information about where, again, we are today, and a little bit of, as Amy indicated, we're going to talk about some of the challenges and successes that we've struggled along the way, and some of the things we're excited about as we look towards the future. First and foremost, many folks may have read in the paper recently some challenges with CMC and our accreditation, and we are a fully accredited institution. And that is an important message to get out. We have areas of opportunity that we are continuing to focus on. And those are things that not only is the administration and the faculty and the staff all committed to, they are works in progress that frankly will never be done. And as we continue to focus on making sure that we use our student learning outcomes, our program learning outcomes, and our institutional learning outcomes to improve our teaching and learning here at Copper Mountain College, our accrediting body will continue to see us going in the right direction. And so, the latest information that came out was a little bit murky, but I just wanted to clarify that. Going back to last March, a year ago, the pandemic really it's crazy that it's been a year. It feels both like a dog year and the fastest year of all of our lives. And we were very early in working to develop COVID protocols that would allow us to serve the students that we have. And what that actually allowed us to do is that While we did, like everyone else, have to pivot and move 100% online last March, by June 1st, we had reopened the campus. We actually had reopened the campus in an environment that was very much driven by CDC guidelines, but also things that we needed to serve students. Unlike some of the schools in the region, we kept our several of our programs going, nursing, EMT, et cetera, all through the summer, the fall, and continue today in person, because those are skill sets that it's very difficult to virtually do nursing. It's very difficult to virtually do emergency medical technicians. To some degree, it's very difficult to virtually work on cars. And so these are all things that we figured out: socially distanced mechanism, mask mechanisms, and COVID protocols, so that we could support frontline workers and the continuing development of frontline workers and pedagogical necessity courses. Having said that, we did pivot the majority of things online, but there's a lot of things we've learned through this. And we're really proud of this because, frankly, while we have had our cases of COVID associated with the college, none of the cases associated with the college have transmitted on the college. They've all come from outside of the college, and they were contained to the individual who brought them on the college or onto the college proper. And so, the masking protocols have worked, social distancing protocols have worked. If things look different, absolutely. But, we really feel that we've been showing our leadership in this space, and we couldn't be more proud of the partnership with county around both the testing that started last April and the continued opportunities for vaccines until everybody in the basin is ultimately, who wants to be vaccinated, will be vaccinated. Having said that, the majority of our instruction this semester, the fall, was online, and all of our lectures have been online, both in synchronous or asynchronous methodologies. And the difference being, for those of you who don't speak education speak, meaning that either a lecture is broadcast live in synchronous, or a student could watch it later through our learning management platform, which happens to be Canvas, in an asynchronous modality. Obviously, engaging students in those two different methodologies of online instruction varies. And it is really, as Amy noted, the amount of work and the commendations to our faculty across both of our districts as they've pivoted to navigate this is something that is just amazing, really. And then finally, we are really proud of the fact that one of the other things that we struggle with and our students struggle with has always been access to healthcare. And while Copper Mountain College has never been able to fully facilitate a medical clinic on site, we have been able to use some of the resources that the federal government has given us since the beginning of this to provide telehealth, which includes mental health services, access to medical professionals, and that baseline of healthcare access for students is something that, especially on the mental health, has been more valuable than we ever imagined through this pandemic. So that's the baseline of where we're at. So we'll move forward here. Challenges and successes. Amy. And you're muted, Amy.
That will happen at least 7 more times. Okay, so I'm just get ready for it. Challenges and successes. So successes aren't really much without challenges, right? So we'll talk about what we started out with and what we're very proud of. So technology. You really never realize how far behind you are in technology until technology becomes the lifeblood of what you must do. So it is pivot and it is learn real quick. And that indeed is what we had to do as a district. It is what our instructors had to do. It is what our paraprofessionals had to do, and certainly what our students and parents had to do. So we had obsoleted technology and plans to buy technology, but didn't really have so much technology. Our career technical education had great technology because we were running high-tech programs, but inside the classroom, not so much. So we are now the proud owners of 11,126 new devices, computer devices that we have purchased for our students to utilize at home and upon our return to utilize in the classroom. So we are now over a 1-to-1 device ratio with our students, and those are state-of-the-art computers. And now really, so that was the challenge, right, was to get them, because, you know, everybody in the free world needed them at the time. So it was our challenge to get them. And now our challenge will be, but the success is that we now have them. And so our challenge now will be to develop a technology protocol that will allow us to replace in phases, so that we make sure that we never have this problem again. So you learn from this situation. Internet, we are working with internet providers. We have had some luck in getting some families internet that either could not afford it or did not have it before. Our big project right now is our LTE project, or what we are calling the Tower project. And it is mid-motion right now. The final goal of that project towards the end of this year and into the summer will be, we are contracting or working in partnership with a company that is placing towers, Wi-Fi towers on the top of each of our schools. And in doing so, that will allow an internet range of 10 miles from each school. And so it will cover a lot of area that currently our community does not have. There are many places in our community that it doesn't matter whether you can afford internet or not, you simply can't get it. And so this will help a lot of that. It will be Morongo Unified Internet, meaning that it goes through our server and you will access only Morongo. So you can't go surfing the web to go, you know, plan your vacation or anything, but it will allow our students to get on our server for our educational online textbooks, for our educational online programs, for the things that the teachers might assign to them, because we also are currently using Canvas, and we did so because we knew CMC was. And so many of our students matriculate to CMC that it was in their best interest to be able to look at that learning management system and learn that before they attended there. So that's what's, you know, internet's been the big thing, you know, and I think it's been the big spotlight nationwide of the lack of broadband as a service to the American people, just like water and electricity is that in the year, you know, 2020, every person needs to be able to have access to the internet. So it's again, pandemic shown a big spotlight on the lack of broadband for a lot of people and how that interferes with your ability to fully participate in community events and government events, and of course, educational programs. The feeding program. So we're super proud of this. You know, Morongo Unified School District continued to feed our students and the community from the first day that in-person instruction closed and the school sites actually closed until today and through this year. So this is what I want to tell you. Meals served. We serve breakfast, lunch, and supper. And we have done so since March 16th in the parking lots of our school sites. And to date, we have served 2,477,837 meals. And that is miraculous. And our nutritional services department through business services has to be given the kudos, because this was a service that really made things a little easier on our families and on our communities. We do a weekly meal service that includes breakfast, lunch, and supper at 15 of our school sites. Families currently receive bags of frozen items, shelf-stable items, fresh produce, bread, and a gallon of milk for each child in the house. And on holiday breaks, we have one coming up April 8th, where we will, during holiday breaks, we serve all the meals for the holiday breaks at one time, and we put them in the trunks of the people's cars. So prior to each holiday break, additional meals are provided. Again, our next one is on April 8th to provide them the meals for spring break. And it gives the families 2 weeks worth of meals, including specialty desserts for the holidays. And we also participate in the USDA protein boxes. In addition to the meals, the nutritional services program also opted in to distribute the USDA protein boxes, which include chicken, cheese, and pork. And to date, we have distributed a total of 109,000 pounds of protein items in addition to our regular meal program. And lastly, I would just talk about the grants that we've been working with as well. Save the Children provided us with almost $49,000 worth of money that was used to be able to assist in the feeding of our children. And No Kid Hungry provided us with about $30,000 worth of money funding to supplement what we were doing. And we also have partnerships with the Marine Corps. We have partnerships with the food banks, with the USDA, with the California Department of Education, and of course the County of San Bernardino. So that's the feeding program. I just wanted to give a shout out to them, and it's a huge, it's a huge deal for the community. And lastly, again, I said we were going to talk about a virtual education. So many of our students, even if we were to be in a situation, or when we are in a situation, a circumstance to reopen more in-person instruction, we have many, many families that want to remain on distance learning. They have thrived in it. Their grades have improved in it. Their test scores on our benchmarks have improved in it. And while distance learning certainly isn't for everyone, and we certainly do recognize that having a credentialed teacher in front of you face-to-face is probably, for the majority of students, the best way to distribute educational services, there are some that have really thrived in distance learning. And of course, there are going to be opportunities for them in their future post-secondary, of course, to do online classes. So this is a good training ground for them. At any rate, we have many of them that are requesting to stay on distance learning post-pandemic. And so we do have our plans almost ready to go for what we're going to call our virtual academy, which will be for next year, and will be 100% remote, and will function a lot like the CAVA or K-12 education kind of completely remote programs, only they'll still be attached to a district school. You can still play football or cheer or be in the band, or access our dual enrollment after hours, or access our career technical programs after hours, because you're still a Morongo Unified student. And so our virtual academy, and I will speak a little bit more about that on my very last slide, but that is one of the successes that has come out of this, is our, we had dreams of doing this for a couple years, but this kind of lit the fire under everybody to say we have to get this done. So hopefully that will be able to run out of ACEs next year. Dr. Otten.
And, as Amy alluded, there's been some significant challenges and successes and some opportunities to learn lots of things that may go with us into the future. But again, to review a couple of the successes, here at Copper Mountain College, within a week of Governor Newsom shutting down the state, we were able to pivot 99% of our classes last spring. And that really continued as we went through the summer and the fall term. And again, while they may have looked different, the classes continued. As Amy alluded, though, one of the biggest challenges that we have in this region is if you're too far off the Highway 62 corridor, access to broadband access, reliable, affordable broadband access, has been significantly a challenge. And I encourage everyone on this call, this is an opportunity not only to help support Morongo Unified as they look to scale the service to their students, but this is a bigger nationwide issue, especially for those of us in rural areas. Right now, there's 3 bills in Sacramento that talk about California infrastructure for broadband, and there are several bills being pushed around the halls in Washington, D.C. There was a recent, in the last couple of days, a assessment of rural college needs, and broadband access was the #1 thing that came up. We also did a technology loan program here at Copper Mountain College for any student who needed a computer or a device. We provided that to them, and continue to do so now because so much of our instruction is online. Since the pandemic started, using primarily originally CARES funds and subsequently HARE funds, which part of the designated requirements of those dollars is that a certain percentage of them, 50%, we chose to allocate more than 50%. We have either distributed or allocated approximately $1.7 million of direct cash aid to our students here at Copper Mountain College. And that is something that is, intended to support their basic needs. As Amy indicated, students who are hungry can't learn. That's not a priority. If you've ever looked at Maslow's triangle, hierarchy of needs, if you're hungry or you don't have a place to sleep that's safe, education's not your priority. And so what we can help them with, on that cash aid is critical. As we look towards the future, we've got two major challenges. And I think that, as we return more and more in-person, in-class type of things, but also we embrace some of the advances that we've made around technology. And we've had online courses for a long time. So I will say we were blessed with the fact that we had our learning management systems in place. We had all of the tools to be able to pivot to online education fully, easily deployable at our fingertips. What we haven't figured out yet, and we continue to struggle with, is that how do we build that sense of community, that sense of connectedness, that sense of stickiness in an online learning environment? How do you build a student life experience with an online learning environment? And then looking forward, how do you build an equitable approach to student experiences and connectedness and stickiness with students who are choosing to learn primarily online, students who are looking to learn in person, and building that sense of community, I think, is going to be the secret sauce to the long-term success of educational institutions across this country. And in particular, what students have realized is that if they can learn in an online environment, Copper Mountain College is not their only option if this is their neighborhood. They can go anywhere they want. And so that value proposition and the why needs to be a much more powerful message. And we continue to try to work and develop and understand that. And a matter of fact, I've challenged our student government to specifically try to help us figure out what that stickiness will be and what it can be in the future. We've also seen some challenges to our enrollment, and that is something that is not uncommon in the California community colleges. However, in traditional times of economic decline, our enrollments run counter-cyclical, meaning that when folks are out of work, they tend to enroll in school, so our enrollments go up. That didn't happen this time. It's an anomaly. So we are down roughly about 10% on our total head count right now, and we're down about 18% on our total enrollment, which is just a combination associated with how many units students are taking. I think in talking to other schools throughout the region, there are 3 schools in the entire state that have stable or increasing enrollment, and of the other 112 roughly, we've all seen declines. And most of the reason that we've all decided that the data has indicated that we have seen those declines is that so many folks didn't know if this was a 2-week pandemic, a 4-week pandemic, a 6-month pandemic. And so they've been unwilling to commit to something that might prevent them from getting a shift back at the restaurant that they worked at or the retail store that they worked at. Because if it reopened, they knew they needed to make the money. And so that's been one of our biggest challenges. And, I expect that that's going to continue to be a challenge, especially as we navigate the unknown of the fall and the unknown of the future. Last thing I'll say on this, there also clearly is a population of students here at Copper Mountain College who online learning or online lectures didn't work for them. And so without having that ability to at least offer a section in person to support them and meet them with where their learning style is and what they're looking for in a college education, they've been dramatically impacted. And so, again, as we look towards that future of balancing online offerings, in-person offerings, I think, again, comes back to that connectedness and stickiness. Amy, I'll let you kind of talk about some of the places we're partnered.
You know what? And I think this is going to be kind of a back and forth. So everyone will have to kind of bear with us because everything on this slide is for both of us. So we'll start with dual enrollment and articulation agreements. And the dual enrollment articulation agreements is the greatest thing since sliced bread that ever hit this community. And I go on record saying it. Our students in MUSD have the ability now to develop a college transcript prior to graduation, which is phenomenal. They see that they can take a college course, be successful, and that is life-changing. And they're also, again, for their parents to be able to maybe cut out, we have students who are graduating with a semester or more of college completed gen ed requirements. because of our partnership with CMC. So of all the things, I think I'm finishing my 33rd year in Morongo Unified School District, and I really can't think of anything that I'm more proud of than this, because it is life-changing for our students, and it's life-changing for their parents, who are like kicking off $20,000 off of their student loan bills here for the kids. So currently, what dual enrollment is, for those of you who don't know, is a student will take a college class with their high school teacher who has been vetted by CMC and been found to have the correct master's degree or otherwise. And so they use the CMC book, they take the CMC finals, they are mentored by a CMC teacher, but they are able to take that college course with us. And so they will not only get their high school credit for that course, but they'll also get the college credit. And currently we have 13 courses that we're offering. We have many, many, many that we have an agreement about, but the offerings will always depend on the room on the master schedule. And it will depend on the availability of an instructor from MUSD with the correct master's degree, which is, sometimes can be difficult to find. You get lucky with some, then they leave. And so, Yucca High might offer things that 29 doesn't, and vice versa. We have 13 courses currently that are enrolling 195 students right now that are getting dual enrollment credit. And our next slide will tell you what they are. We are very involved together with what used to be AEBG, which is the Adult Education Block Grant, which is now called the CAPE. And so we have kind of a consortium together by which we receive funds for educating adults. And as you know, a lot of our career technical programs have morphed into a hybrid of high school students and adults, especially those where certifications are offered. So we offer, and again, we'll talk about the CTE programs that we offer and what the certifications are for them. But if there is a place, for example, our 911 dispatcher, and we have certification for that, we enroll both high school students and adults. So that's how we, we partner together. And then CTE pathways, we are trying to partner together. We are trying to develop guided pathways as the college has guided pathways. We are trying to develop programs where they are 1 year in length, 2 periods per day. So it's a double period block of concentrated education that prepares them for the certification exam that might come with that course at the end of it. And then what they have now is an introductory education, perhaps a certification to go to work, and then they can strand and streamline to Copper Mountain College to finish their program for post-secondary, for additional certifications, or perhaps moving into an associate's degree or a transfer degree that Copper Mountain would help them with. So we'll talk about the CTE pathways a little bit in the next slide. The sharing, and the ESL for adults, I'll actually have Daren talk a little bit about that as well. Last year, pre-pandemic, we had the most wonderful thing started, and we were so proud because we were running an English as a second language program for parents at Yucca Valley Elementary School. And we were crossing our fingers, right, Daren? We're like, oh, if we can get 10 people, we get 10 people in there, it's gonna be great. And we'll do daycare for the kiddos, and we'll feed them dinner, and it'll be great. And then the people started enrolling, and we needed 2 full sections. So we were running 2 full sections of intro and then intermediate for this. And it was such a wonderful thing. And then the pandemic hit and we had to shut it down. But as soon as we were able to open that back up again, Daren and I are committed to making that happen. We were getting ready to actually expand it over to the 29 end and maybe run something out of Palm Vista so that both ends of our district would have that.
It is really, on that one, it is one of the most exciting partnerships to serve a community, and probably one of the communities that often struggle the most with access to education. And that's both at the K-12 level as well as the higher ed level, and getting folks an opportunity to provide them a usable skill while providing some food and some help with tutoring and childcare. We had no idea how successful it was going to be. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. So again, we'll get back there and we'll hopefully be able to offer that service again and expand that service. Again, changing lives in the Morongo Basin, changing lives in our community by assisting parents to be able to fully access not only their own children's education and assist with that, but access their own ability to participate fully in the community and all that our community has to offer. Copper Mountain and MUSD share space at ACE, which is the Academy of College and Career Excellence in Yucca Valley. We share space for high school completion diploma programs and career technical programs. So we share space with that. And then Project Phoenix. And, you know, Daren, again, step in anytime you want, but Project Phoenix is something that I'm super excited about as well, because we've been working for years. Frank Lucchino in city manager, 29, has included us very graciously, us meaning the two educational institutions, because we would like to move or expand our culinary arts and management program to a commercial kitchen facility. And currently 29 Palms does not have that at all. And 29 Palms students have not had that at all. And so what Project Phoenix is doing with the big community building is inside of that building, we are building a commercial kitchen, and it's a real commercial kitchen. It's not a revamped home economics room where high school students would go in. This is a real life facility where students who want to learn the culinary arts pathway, you know, the skills for that, will do so with real world equipment and real world space where they will really be able to see what it's like to work in that industry. And it will also allow the employers here in the basin to be able to garner workers who are trained in specialty skills and come out of the program with a food handler's card, who come out of the program with the Serve Safe curriculum under their belt, and who have come out of this program knowing how to use industry standard equipment. And I'll let you go with it as well, Daren, because CMC also has a bigger picture in mind as well about things that they could offer there.
Well, and as Amy's indicated, you know, one of the areas that we currently offer dual enrollment also happens to be in culinary. It aligns here, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second, and I can highlight the basics, but a culinary certification here partnered with MUSD and us through whatever facility can clearly then lead, if someone wanted to, into our associate's degree for transfer in hospitality. And what's cool about that is that CSU SB down in Palm Desert has the completion program specifically aligned for that. So, you know, the vision that I personally really like to see is the idea of a student earning those food handler cards, earning that base level certification, you know, working through that process so that they can earn themselves a wage while they attend school, while they continue their education. And then ultimately, if we can get them on a track to a bachelor's degree, you know, not only are they going to be managing that kitchen, they're going to be managing 6 kitchens, and they're going to be managing 6 kitchens with hospitality operations all over the high desert, all over the low desert. And the opportunities there, really, when you start looking at the economic growth and the economic changes that families can benefit from as you climb that kind of economic mobility ladder, really become a game changer for, again, families and lives. So, you know, it's something that's exciting on that front. We're really looking forward to that right now. That's Project Phoenix is just broke ground and is scheduled to be completed in, I believe, March of 22. And I believe that fall of 22 is when we're going to have the first classes there, assuming that everything stays on track. And I'll briefly talk about the next couple of items so we can kind of keep on schedule here, because I know we're going to be running out of time real quick. Copper Mountain College and MUSD have been working together for several years. The Integrity Project specifically was a joint agreement talking about student integrity, critical thinking, and this goes back several years at this point, 5 or 6 years, where our board meetings at a joint board meeting, which is a very huge anomaly. And I've been around the block for a little bit. I've only been here in the basin for now approaching 2 years. I've never seen another place where joint board meetings between the college trustees and the school board happen, the K-12 school board. And so the fact that these folks are working together, know each other, can help us guide this idea of, you know, really a high touch educational experience for our students from K, pre-K, all the way to an associate's degree or transfer is something that doesn't exist anywhere else with that partnership. And part of that starts with our RISE program. We are very deliberately engaged. Our counseling staff here at Copper Mountain College are deliberately engaged with the counseling staff at the high schools, whether that is Yucca, 29, Black Rock, to make sure that the counselors there have all the information to provide the students who are interested to go to college. And currently about 25% of the Morongo Unified graduates across the basin come to Copper Mountain in the subsequent year. And that's really exciting. And RISE provides that opportunity. And some of the other things that we're partnered on, and just recently myself and Interim Superintendent Weller and several other community members associated with the CMC Foundation interviewed our Greenleaf Scholarship finalists. And the Greenleaf Scholarship is a legacy gift that is provided to a student per year that graduates from Morongo Unified and provides a full ride. Starts with Copper Mountain College for 2 years, and as long as that student chooses to continue their education within a California university, it's covered. Room and board's covered, tuition's covered, books are covered. And, you know, that is a huge, huge, huge opportunity when you're looking at, you know, a percentage of, frankly, striking the lottery. And right now, we actually extended this program to potentially pay for master's degrees as well. And so, you know, I would love to see a fact that we could get a Greenleaf Scholar through our pipeline, an MUSD graduate, comes to Copper Mountain, 2 years, off to one of the fancy schools in the state, and comes back here as a faculty member, either for us or for MUSD. And that is something that I you know, really is that ultimate kind of dream about how this partnership works. So here, Amy's some of your fancy stuff that we're doing together on dual enrollment, and you guys are doing AP.
Absolutely, yes. The advanced placement again is not. This is because, you know, I reconditioned slides that smart girls do that. So really, the dual enrollment side is what you would be concerned with. And just again, really quickly, we offer English 1B and 3A, and so in our kids, it's a very popular program. So when our kids take that, they finish their English 11 and their English 12 with us, plus they also have all their transferable English. So that is very cool. Our Spanish program, we do have a dual enrollment with our Spanish 2, which is your Spanish 2, our Spanish 4. The College of Personal Success, which is like a freshman seminar, you know, in other places. It's really valuable. And it is the most popular program. We have more kids taking that than anything else. We've got a psych, a general psych, which you know is a gen ed course that all of us had to take. We also, through our criminal justice program, have intro to criminology and criminal law. And so kids can not only go through and be a completer in the criminal justice program, and we have after hours security guard certification with baton certification and 911 dispatch certification under criminal justice for CTE. We also then have the other prong of that, which is they can earn 2 college courses in the area of criminal justice or administration of justice. Very proud of that. We do the college algebra, which is your math 10, our algebra 2, and then we do the next level up, math 12, which is our pre-calc. So again, students with the math 10 could get their math transfer taken care of. And that again, for us would be like the algebra 2 or the integrated math 3 and the pre-calc. We have conservation of natural resources, which is a biological science for them. And then we have an intro to art class, which was just this year. And we were super happy to have that on board because now they can get a visual and performing art transfer credit done. And then we also have our child development, our early childhood program through our CTE, our career technical education. And so students are completers in that. And then they're also able to do, we have an articulation agreement with you for CD10. So that's the base course, right? That they have to have then to take CD12, child, family, and community, and then CD74, living and teaching in a diverse society. And when they have completed those 3, they are only 1 course away at CMC from getting their permit. Again, the life-changing thing for our students. So the CTE programs that we currently offer, these are the pathways. And again, just to take a look at things, the pathways that we have, we have our education, child development, family services. So this is the way we're going to stay. Dan, are you going to stay here, Daren?
No, I was, you were just hitting the pathway, so I figured I'd give you your slide.
Absolutely fine. These are the pathways, all those, there's all those other different pathways. These are the pathways that MUSD actually has courses in, woodworking and cabinetry. And it is our goal in the future to start up our building and construction trades again. We have inside the we have a criminal justice program, which has the private security guard 911 communication, in our public service and safety program. And next year, we will be adding a fire technology program that will strand with the Copper Mountain College for woodland fire and structural fire, fire tech, and our EMR. We're bringing back our EMR, emergency medical responder, that will strand to your EMT. So hopefully our kids will take our program and then go to your program and get into that sector, that business sector. We have run a flagship dental assisting, registered dental assisting program for a very long time, which is in our medical pathway. We run a pharmacy clerk and a pharmacy tech program, all of which have completer exams or the national exams and certification for them to go right out and get a job. And next year we will be adding a medical assisting program with the medical assisting exam. So there will be 3 prongs on our medical pathway. We run a child development program I just talked about with our early childhood, and strand that to CMC. And next year, we also would like to add some more dual enrollment in the EDUC portion of the CMC's catalog, so that we can take advantage of your CSUSB transfer program for multiple subject or elementary teacher program. So we want to strand with you on that. That's our goal. Our culinary arts and management. And then our last would be under what we run over at ACE East over at Monument High School, which is an unmanned aerial vehicle program, or our drone program. We offer them their FAA pilot license and small aircraft safety license, and also the line of sight certification. And we do that all for free. All of the certifications are for free. And then our cybersecurity program, which is our Big Daddy program, where they actually are taking cybersecurity through GBSI, which is a national program. Our kids are in the same classroom with Pentagon people, with Navy SEALs. They take the classes all at the same time. We have a teacher in the classroom to help guide them. And then we pay for their CompTIA Security, CompTIA Network Plus, CompTIA Security Plus, CompTIA A+ certification, all the way up to their certified ethical hacker license, which is the industry standard to, I don't know, leave high school and make $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a year. And we've had several students who have completed all 4 portions of that program. Now I'm ready, Daren. Okay. And so for next year, new additions, as I said, we're looking at medical assisting because we want to expand our medical program. CMC has an incredible nursing program, and a lot of our kids would love to get into that. Medical assisting is a good way to start. And our fire science has become huge lately. Wasn't so much 10 years ago. Very difficult to even get a job as a fireman or firefighter previously. But now in California, with the wildfires and with the droughts and all of the job opportunities that are available in fire science, we think it's time to bring it back. You have a wonderful fire academy. Jim Brakebill is incredible, and he has always wanted to partner with us. And we would like then to bring back our EMR, our emergency medical responder, so that they would also have that certification that they could use to take to you for your EMT, which is a great career as well.
And that's a perfect segue here as we kind of work to wrap this up real quick. The hospitality pathway I had mentioned before, coming from Morongo Unified to us and ultimately to CSUSB. But as Amy indicated, the opportunities around wildland fire have been growing, unfortunately, within the state of California and really all over the West. And on April 5th, we are starting our inaugural Wildland Firefighter Academy. This course is actually a part course classroom, part work experience. But these folks are not only going to be getting classroom experience, but they're going to be out on the fire lines come the end of June. And it's really exciting when you look at it from that particular standpoint. And this is a partnership between CAL FIRE, us, the various fire agencies all over the West. And we were selected to be a partner for this because of our arid conditions because of our temperature, because of the space that we have for physical training, and just the fire training across the board. And this is something that is super exciting as we look forward to the future. And it's an unfortunate future, but it's an opportunity that we are continuing to explore. And as we talk about areas that we want to explore, and we look at regional workforce, specifically when we have to talk about, where can we go? Just very recently, and at this link here, you can go to the link that's the Copper Mountain College regional workforce assessment, and you'll see where some of the job opportunities are and industry sectors are. And I do want to note that this top bar over here, where the largest percentage of jobs currently are as we look towards the future, happen to be in government. But that's also important to remember that part of that is because of the base out in 29. And so that is, it is not, because we've got a pile of extra government workers around for some reason, but it is an opportunity as we look out there. But there is the retail sector, but in particular, healthcare, food services, construction are all areas that we see tremendous growth and opportunity here in our region and within that region that we serve. And so this is some of the areas that we're continuing to look at. So what does the future hold? Amy?
Well, the future holds for MUSD a very robust summer school program, the likes of which we've never done before. We usually only offer credit recovery to high school students who have failed a class or are in danger of not graduating. This year, due to the pandemic, we will be offering a TK, transitional kindergarten through 12th grade program for our students who are interested. It will run June 21st through July 30th, 4 days a week. We will have Fridays available for targeted assistance for our special groups, maybe our English learners, maybe our students with disabilities, maybe our homeless and foster youth that need a bit more support. That will also be available after hours as well. We will provide transportation to everyone but TK. We cannot because of car seats, but everyone K-12 transportation, again, which we've never done before with summer school. So we are looking at, we are looking for that to be an in-person venture, or we hope that the public health circumstances at that time will allow for that, for us to be able to run it the way that we'd like. The virtual academy, again, I talked about a little bit. The virtual academy would be a remote distance learning opportunity for students to stay on that program, but also be attached to a Morongo Unified School, whereby they would be eligible for everything that a Morongo student would be eligible for. And it also would allow us to take care of our home health hospital students that might need short-term virtual. It will also allow us to take care of PCSing military families who might only have a couple weeks or a month left of school, and where they're going, they have to quarantine, or where they're going, they have to wait for base housing, and they're not going to be at the regular school that they would be at. So we could finish their program for them, whether they be a senior graduating or whether they be a second grader. So our virtual academy will offer a lot of flexibility for our students and for our clientele. And we're really excited about offering that as an option, along with our independent study program and our ACE program, our Academy of College and Career Excellence, which is basically a hybrid between an independent study and a distance learning program. So you get the best of any world there. The expansion of the career technical education we talked about, fire and medical and building construction trades. We have a focus on social and emotional learning moving into fourth quarter, moving into the summer, and certainly moving into next year. This social emotional learning does deal with mental health issues with our students. It deals with trauma-informed practices with our students. And it integrates into the curriculum, and plus it offers additional support services, and that might manifest itself in the form of additional counseling services or therapeutic services, mindfulness activities, and coping skills and emotional regulation and management skills that we feel our students have probably always needed, but certainly need now more than ever, that they've been not in in-person instruction for over a year. And lastly, integration of technology into the curriculum. We will continue to use Canvas as our learning management system for the ACE Academy, for our virtual academy. And I'm sure that it will continue to be used in some way, shape, or form in some of the secondary schools as they train our students to have a career in post-secondary education. And we will continue our Discovery Ed, which allows for additional supplementary technology inside of the classroom, along with social emotional activities. And again, as I spoke of before, we are now at one-to-one. So we have a one-to-one device for every student in our district to be able to use in the classroom. And should we need to ever have to deploy technology out to the homes again, we are fully ready to do so with one device per child.
So short-term CMC, our summer session will be fully online. Our fall session will be about 60% online, 60% on ground, 40% online, assuming that the current trajectory holds. As I had mentioned earlier, our focus on building campus connection, community connection, and working to do that in both a virtual and in-person kind of environment is the priority for our institution as we look towards the future. There also, from this pandemic, one of the lessons learned is really this idea of changing student and employee expectations about what work is, what learning is. And this is something that I have to commend our HR team and really all of our bargaining unit teams, all of our constituent groups, because we're one of the first community college, if not the first community college in the state, to actually develop a remote working policy that will allow and guide us as we move towards the future. For the fall, I expect that basketball will be back, and we're exploring other sports as well that may be a fit here with Copper Mountain College as we, again, look towards things that may create a sense of community or stickiness. And then the most exciting thing that's going on right now is that Copper Mountain College is celebrating our 20th year as an independent college. And we're currently in the process of honoring the legacy of the people, the community, you all who built this institution. As we honor folks over the next 20 months, we're also going to look at some of the things that we will be able to do as an institution to change the future and ultimately create tomorrow. And something that is so exciting to me right now is that as we look at being 20 years old, we have an environment that truly is unprecedented in the history of education. And we can take the best from the past and the best from what we're learning through this pandemic, build what this community ultimately wants and values for the future. And so that's just so cool. So with that, I'm going to wrap this up and turn it back over to Sandy, or we can take any questions if anybody has a minute or two worth of a question.
I don't know how anybody else is scheduling. I mean, we're okay for a while. I don't have to go directly at 1 o'clock. I don't know how bunched everybody else is. But if you have questions for Daren or I, please don't be shy.
Yeah.
Suzanne?
Yeah, I was just wondering, the different jobs that you were talking about, the wildland fire and all these other jobs through the MUSD.
Mm-hmm.
Is that also including adults? Or is that just the high school kids?
Our fire program will include just the high school kids, then we'll strand them up to CMC where they offer an adult program.
Okay, and does Dr. Otten, do you guys offer that type of a curriculum as well?
We do. We have both a fire tech program and, as I mentioned, the Wildland Fire Academy that starts here April 5th.
Okay. Oh yeah, I did hear that. Okay, and that's for adults. And now, do they have to be registered at the school to get into those courses?
Yes, absolutely they do. And it's relatively painless. CCC Apply gets the project started, but if it's something that folks need more help with, they can do it through stopping by here and visiting our counseling team in student services. The exciting thing, just as a side note, with the Wildland Fire Academy, that's actually currently being offered is a non-credit, which means there is no cost associated with going to attend that academy. There's some expenses that students will end up having to self-cover, although we're working with the foundation to try to cover some of those.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Jane?
First of all, I want to say I'm feeling very emotional about this presentation today. It's so positive, I just can hardly stand it. I'm so proud of you guys. I know there are glitches here and there, but overall, I just think it's amazing. Feeding people, you know, making them feel better, concerned about homeless kids, just the range is impossible. And, my granddaughter lives with me, and she is disabled, but has not been able to qualify for disability. And she can't work, can't drive. And I'm thinking about her future, what she can do. And I'm thinking there might be some place that she could fit in the college course. She was trained to be a graphic designer, and it's a crazy, you know, it's really to find a job in that field is impossible, especially working from home. And I heard you talk about 911 dispatch as a potential job. And is that something that could be done at home?
No, because the equipment is in, it's set up as a 911 dispatch center. So the kids actually come in and they work on the actual 911 dispatch computer centers with the headphones, and they do all of that with that programming, and then they have to pass the certification test.
Are there any jobs like that around here?
There are, and because the 911 dispatching, although because we like to bill it as such, it's dispatching. It's taxi cab dispatching.
Oh.
It's tow truck dispatching.
Oh, okay.
Help me out. There's all dispatching, and it's knowing how to take a phone call, and it's knowing how to use a computer system to dispatch services where they need to go.
Yeah, I just thought that maybe she might fit in if she was at all interested. So I was curious.
Well, and we do offer that to adults. That's an adult program. We offer it over at Monument High School in 29 Palms, and we do take adults for free.
Wow. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm all tearing up because, you know, it's been a rough year. And I'm so happy to hear about this today. Thank you.
Jane, we have a program at the college. Our Access program has a specific counselor, and it's the students with disabilities. I will send you Jennifer Anderson's contact information. She's our Access coordinator. And so maybe your granddaughter can talk to her and get some idea of what supportive services we have here at CMC.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm thinking you're motivating me to sit down with her and have a serious talk. So
yeah, and Jennifer would be a great one to help with that talk.
Okay,
so,
thanks, you guys.
Do you have any other questions? I know we're going a little bit over. I'm going to really quick, as is our tradition, do our go around. I just want to make an announcement. One, I want to thank these two that, you know, I work here and I know a lot of this stuff, but like Jane said, it's pretty motivating and it's pretty impressive, and it all comes down to our faculty and our staff and their dedication to every student in this basin. And it's real, and you can feel it here every day. Our next Basin-wide Foundation virtual luncheon is May 20th at 11:30. It's water and the environment. So we're going to be talking about water and with our water districts and some of those key players. So watch for that from Kathy, an invitation. We also have the Shredded event, our annual Shred Day. It's a fundraiser for us. I think it's $5 or so for a baker's box on April 19th from 9 to noon, and that's all on the Basin-wide website. Lastly, golf tournament is coming in fall with a date to be announced. We're hoping to get back to some normal events in person come fall. So do any of our other nonprofits have some announcements that we can share? Marie, do you have anything good for this month?
Hi, Sandy. Hi, everybody. Thank you for a great presentation. I don't have anything for this month. I do have a save the date for our art summit this year, which will be on May the 14th from 9 to 12 a.m. And this year we're partnering, the Arts Council of San Bernardino County is partnering with Riverside County. So it's an Inland Empire State of the Art Summit.
14th.
And that's all I've got for you today.
Perfect. I see a bunch of Morongo Basin Conservation Association people on here. Anything they want to share?
Hello, can you hear me? It's Janet.
Hi, Janet.
Hi. Actually, not so much for the MBCA, but I also wanted to add in and what Jane said as well. I feel the same. The work that Wayne Hamilton has done, I think, is tremendous, and I would love for the school, Amy, to discuss that briefly. He's, you know, last I heard, and that was in November, it was like 85 families had been rehomed or helped with their housing, and I think 5 or 6 had to be housed outside of the community, which was upsetting from a land use and general plan sort of point of view, which is something we are working on with Morongo Basin Conservation Association. So yeah, if Amy wants to tell us about Wayne's work, I think everyone should hear it. It's just fantastic. So.
I can sure talk to you about Wayne Hamilton is amazing, his force of nature. And he's basically the homeless liaison between the community and the school district. And while he works, of course, with all kinds of homeless people and families, obviously our partnership with him are those with children or unaccompanied minors who are homeless. And what he does is, yes, he works with the different grant agencies. He works with the different agencies that where he has funding. And he will do things like, you know, get first and last rents paid for people. He will get them caught back up on rent so they don't get evicted. He will try to find them places, especially with small children. He will get them voucher cards for, you know, food and clothing. He works with Dr. Garrett Gruwell here at the school district, who is our coordinator of child welfare and attendance, to do home visits on kids, to make sure, you know, what people don't understand a lot about homeless is that homeless doesn't necessarily mean you're on a park bench in Lucky Park. Homeless might mean that you're doubled up in somebody else's house with no stable housing. It might mean that you've got 3 families living together trying to make their state assistance check spread far enough where everybody can have a place to sleep and eat. It may be that you're in a car, or it might be you're in a non-operational RV that's parked, you know, on the side somewhere. It's any place where you don't know where you're going to sleep the next night, and where, you know, you don't have a place that's yours, and that you know that you're going to be safe in. And so Wayne does amazing work, but more importantly, the work is increasing because the homeless situation in the basin is increasing, and it's affecting children. It's affecting elderly people. It's affecting all segments of our society. And I mean, if you live here, you can see, you know, what's going on with that. So, you know, I know that Wayne works with a lot of different agencies from the county. He is also paid by us to help us offer services to families with children. So any assistance, and Wayne is, of course, he'd love to come talk to any agency, any organization, anything, anytime. So. Yeah.
Jason, do you have anything to add about that up from your area?
You asking about Waste Not?
I'm asking if you want to expand, if you have any announcements.
Yeah, so I was officially voted in as director for Waste Not Morongo Basin yesterday. So we are now able to push forward with the food giveaways. We had the last round of funding, there were 1,200 food boxes per week that were being given out to people in need that were hungry. I just spoke with Daylight and LA Specialty Produce today, and we have another conference call on Monday to have that set back up in April. They were delayed with this round. So we will be setting up in April to be doing another 1,200 boxes every week, as well as our health unit has also been working on getting direct produce from farms. So down in San Jacinto and some other areas, we've been working on getting entire crates worth of celery, carrots, potatoes, potatoes, apples, different things like that. So we have a lot of deals in place that just need to be finalized, and then we'll be feeding a lot more people this year than last year.
For those of you that don't know, Dr. Bella Stultz is moving from the area. She's been coordinating Waste Not Morongo Basin for the Basin-Wide Foundation. As she's moving, we're transitioning to Jason Hansen here as a new director and handling Waste Not. So we'll hear more from him in the future. So do I have any other announcements? Otherwise, anybody else? Go ahead, Jane.
I just wanted to mention, I'm not sure I have in the past, but I was elected and started in December as a director with the Joshua Basin Water District.
Nice.
So I'm an elected official also.
Woohoo! Well, congratulations. And again,
Well,
water and the environment, May 20th.
Yes, I know. I heard you mention that, so I'm assuming we'll be involved.
I'm assuming too.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all for your time today. Thank you, Amy, Daren.
Sandy, I wanted to do a thank you. May I? May I do a thank you before you close us out?
Please.
Okay. So, well, first person I want to thank was Sandy. Because as I call Wayne Hamilton a force of nature, I've always called Sandy force of nature. If it's going to get done, Sandy's going to do it. So I want to thank you, Sandy, for first of all knowing so much about the community and being so committed to the community. And I think the word is investment, being invested in our community. So, you know, a lot of times what we do is we work, and we check something off the list and we do it right because nobody else is going to do it. We're going to do it and going to do it. But we don't stop and document the things that we do or stop and thank the people who are doing them. So thank you, Sandy, for giving us this opportunity. Glitches aside, who cares? It all went down. Great. So thank you. And then I wanted to thank Daren as well, because, you know, it is a really, really great thing to be able to have a partner that is so proactive and understands the needs of a rural community, whether, you know, the state of California wants to qualify us as rural or not. We most certainly are. And there's not a lot of districts or places where there's a lack of industry coupled with a geographic vastness the size of, you know, Rhode Island, that you've got to travel around and find people and service people and get services for people. That's a huge deal. But Daren gets it. He gets it, and I appreciate it. And I am super looking forward to all the things that we can do together. So I wanted to thank Sandy and Daren for making this happen, because this kind of thing is a labor of love. It's never an inconvenience, because anytime that we can talk about the things that we're doing and the things that we need and get input for, like I said, not just for the kids, but for the entire community, because, you know, you save a kid, you save a mom or dad, you save a member of the community, you build the community. And that's what we're here for.
Thank you.
Rock star, Amy.
That's right. Thank you. All right. We'll see you in a couple months, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, folks.
Thank you.